Okay, well, let's just hope for the best, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so this is like the first. This is the first. So this is the first vlog. I guess let's set some ground expectations, or I guess like goals. So like the whole idea of this vlog is to help me stay accountable for the things I want to do and the goals I'm going to set. So I figured, might as well start off with, yeah. So like I said in my last video, this week has been basically just like setting up the foundation of how I'm going to accomplish my goals and how I'm going to focus myself into a career in filmmaking. It's been very clear that, just doing cinematography, at least at the level that I'm at right now, is not going to cut it financially. So this week has been a lot of laying the groundwork for what avenues I should be pursuing and how I should be throwing myself at them. So basically until the end of the year, I have a few things I need to accomplish to set myself up for the future. So the first thing on my list is that I want to have a solid branded content portfolio. Honestly, I haven't really decided to like niche down in any kind of way, but I am leaning towards towards like the restaurant and like services industries. I tend to lean towards creating like lifestyle content, like people outside in the park, people enjoying activities or enjoying certain things that are like lifestyle associated brands. So I think that's going to be like the angle of where that branded content's going to lean towards. The second thing that I want to do is I want to finish writing my first feature script. I've written probably about 10 to 12 short films, and I do have more short film ideas that I want to write, but ultimately like I gotta break into the habit of writing features, because that's where making this like a full-time job would actually come from. If I want to write and if I want to get paid for my writing, it's gonna come from features. I also want to finish the first draft of the book I've been working on. So I've had an idea for a book for about 10 years, and I've started and stopped writing it multiple times. I have the complete story in my head, give or take some details, but I'm basically gonna push myself to try to finish the first draft by the end of this year. I am applying to some grants for a project I'm working on. So this next goal is kind of more urgent. The deadline for this one isn't the end of the year, it's actually mid-October. So I need to finish 2 grant applications for the Toronto Arts Council and the Ontario Arts Council for a project that I'm trying to do, the documentary miniseries that I've been working on. That's kind of getting the ball rolling, and that's kind of like the most immediate like big goal for now. So I have another kind of big project that's in the works, but it's in a very infancy stage right now. So to tell you a little bit about it, I want to create a channel that creates specifically vertical content, kind of like, okay, so there are channels that exist right now, or like apps or services that where vertical shows exist that are like 1 to 2 episodes long, and they give you like 3 episodes for free, and then they make you subscribe for the next, the rest of the season, or they give you a few episodes for free, then you got to watch some ads to continue the seasons. And like these are gaining popularity, and we can't really turn away from the fact that a lot of content is going vertical now. I'm not saying that it's the future, but I'm saying like I do want to play with that space, and I do want to create something in that realm, just to have something of my own that is very much like my style. So me and a few of my friends that I collaborate with regularly have decided to put together a channel that is going to be exclusively like short form, like these kind of vertical series, 1 to 2 minute episodes for like 5 or 6 episodes, but through different genres. So there's going to be fantasy, sci-fi, noir, drama, comedy, like all these different genres are going to have their own seasonal shows. And the goal essentially is that the channel has multiple seasons of these different shows, or like of these different genres. So maybe a sci-fi show will only last 5 episodes, and then the next sci-fi show is going to be a whole different sci-fi show. But the idea is that they're supposed to be fun, kind of campy, but still very well done and very intentional. And part of the purpose to release it entirely on vertical is to kind of just make sure it's just for fun, just for us, well, not fun just for us, fun for everybody, but we didn't want to put on the pressure of like trying to make a short that's going to get into a bunch of festivals, or that we'd have to like shop around and hide. We wanted to make something that the second it's done, it's out there. And what better way than to create our own like channel and make our own shows. So I've already finished a sci-fi script for 5 episodes for one season, and I'm trying to work on a fantasy season right now, but the goal is that by the end of this year I have 4 more scripts, that I have 5 different genre shows that are all 5 to 6 episodes and like 1 to 3 minutes each. And the last goal for me for this year is to flesh out 2 more spec scripts, the 2 that I didn't get to shoot this year. I do have a few that are more fleshed out than others, and some of them that are more viable than others, but I'm thinking if I could flesh out 2 more that are maybe more manageable and more doable, that will still have a high production value to them, that'll be great. So in total I'll have 4 of these specs that I could shoot if everything lines up. So that's my end of the year goals, and I guess I'll just go into what I was doing this week. So this week, TIFF started this week, and there were a lot of networking events and that kind of things that kind of popped up. So I attended 2 of these networking events. One of them was the Young Filmmakers Party. It was more party than networking event, but it was really cool. I met some fun people. It was hella packed, and I was really warm the whole time because I wore a whole ass suit. But yeah, it was a cool event. It was really cool to see a bunch of people that I had engaged with maybe on Instagram, and we like following each other and stuff, but actually meeting them in person was really nice. But it was very much like a party. And then I also went to the Connect Films. We had a new organization that had a launch party. It's called Connect Films, and that was more of a networking event with kind of promoting the brand, the Connect Films organization. And that was very fun. The food was a surprise and fucking delicious. I didn't expect food. I was like, yeah, this is a cool just a little thing. I saw some bottles of water and some pop on a table, and I was like, great, refreshments, that's perfect. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we have catering, and this was a $7 ticket, or $15 or $7 if you follow their newsletter. So it's like, yeah, that was crazy. I've never had like such quality food from this kind of thing, so that was really nice. And yeah, I got to meet the host, and I met some new potential collaborators and some people whose work I admire, so that was fun. That was a long-ass tangent. Okay, so I also handed off the hopefully final version of a corporate gig I was doing for a PR company that I'm working with. I thought it was already done. Actually, the last time I got any feedback for it was a month and a half ago. Typically, I don't go back to projects after that amount of time, especially when the final payment's been delivered, unless there's like an extreme revision or they're going to pay for an extra revision. But it turns out that I mistyped some of the subtitles, so I just went in and fixed that real quick, and they actually didn't even use all of their revision options anyway, so it was honestly about half an hour of my time, so I wasn't going to charge them anymore for that. I know some people would, but I had already raised my price on that project because of some like extra things that I had to do like in pre-production. So the fact that they didn't use all the revisions, it was okay for me. Then I also had to follow up with an invoice for a different client. So about a month ago, I went to shoot. I actually don't think I could talk about it, but I went to go shoot like a promo for a launch at a space that essentially like I sent an invoice, and it's been 30 days. I can get any emails about when that was going to happen, so I just followed up with that, and that should be all settled now, which is kind of nice. So I'm just telling you this kind of stuff just to like for business insights. I think if some of you trying to figure out like what a week looks like for somebody who's like me, if you're not quite there yet, then this is like following up with invoices and deciding whether or not you're going to charge people for stuff. I spent a little bit of time this week also reaching out to job postings for like looking for videographers, looking for cinematographers. I didn't spend as much time as I normally do doing that, but I did reach out to a few people that were looking for stuff, and I don't know if I'm going to hear back. It's kind of the nature of the game. Usually when it's like a post for somebody on camera, there's always like tons of responses, and it's kind of just like a crapshoot. This is part of the reason why, like, as a cinematographer, as a videographer, like, we have to get into the world of like connecting with directors or decision makers early on, and those are the people that'll come back to you over and over again. Because if they constantly have to make posts like this, they're going to get bombarded with people anywhere from like wedding videographers to like, I know a cinematographer who's been doing it for 15 years who replies to some of these posts because he just likes working on on like fresh projects all the time. So it's a big range, and it's a big, it's not really like a reliable source of finding gigs, because it's different if you're applying as like a grip or a PA or something. There might be multiple of you on a set, but as a cinematographer, it's just you. I did spend a little bit of time writing, which is nice. I kind of found a flow of how to continue writing my book, but I also didn't write as much as I wanted to. That's partially because of the networking events and because of arranging certain other meetings, and I'm trying to just like get people on board to do certain things, or it's just been a lot of me communicating and putting myself out there with the network that I do have, and meeting other people to build my network. So okay, speaking of the networking thing, I did spend some meaningful time actually like engaging with people on Instagram. So at the events, I did add a bunch of people that I hadn't before, or I like reconnect with people that I maybe I'd only met online. So I just sending messages to them like, hey, it was great chatting with you, like following up and just like maintaining that connection, and having a reminder of who those people are and who I am for these people. And yeah, like actually I found some people that I definitely would like to collaborate with in the future. And I mean, look, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of talent out there, and you just have to find people that you can help and that are willing to help you. Okay, so lastly, the thing I did this week was I started to reach out to smaller local brands that might need some help doing some videography, and I offered some services for free just to help build that portfolio. Maybe a month ago I was telling myself like, I'm not going to I'm above doing free work. I have so much work done. But when I actually look at it on my Instagram or look at it in my files, like I don't have proof of it. I don't have specific types of content. I have some lifestyle content, but it's not like branded lifestyle content as much as I would like. So I started hitting up some local brands, some beverage companies, or there's like a matcha company that seemed pretty interesting, and I just like offered some services for free that they can use on their Instagram or whatever they want, just so I can also have it. And I actually got a reply, which was pretty neat. So I really quickly got a reply from this one company, a beverage company, who is kind of like a Toronto version of LaCroix or La Croix. If you speak French, La Croix. That's how c'est comme ça on dit en français. Yeah, so this company actually just came by today and dropped off some product for me, and I'm gonna try to come up with some videos to create some content for them. I have a few ideas already, so I'm pretty excited about that, but I'm hoping that this becomes like a trend where I can do some videos for these companies for free, and then they're gonna like them enough to hire me to do more. Okay, so actually some of these people that I met over the last couple of weeks have sent me some of their scripts. They're writers, and I just like to read other people's scripts. I like to share scripts of my own too. And one of them actually, like, we kind of clicked really well. We're probably going to collaborate, and I really liked the script they sent over. So they asked me to shoot it, and I said yes. So that's still very early on. They're still workshopping the script with an organization, and like there's nothing set in stone about like production timelines, stuff like that, but I did say I'm interested, and we've already talked about doing other projects together because of just the vibe matched. It was really nice, so looking forward to that, but that's like still very, very early on. But yeah, so that's basically what I did this week. And so this is vlog number 0. So I talked about my goals for the end of the year. I talked about what I'm doing this week, and I'm going to start doing it like in chunks. So what I'm doing this week, what's on my plate right now, did I accomplish any of the milestones, and what's upcoming, I think is like a nice way to break it down, at least for now. We'll see how it goes for the rest of the year. But what's on my plate right now is I gotta finish these applications for these grants. So I'm applying, like I said, to 2 grants, the Toronto Arts Council and the Ontario Arts Council, and I just want to finish first drafts of like my answers, because they have like a certain amount of questions you gotta answer, and I want to finish the first drafts and run them by like my collaborators and the producers I brought on for the project, and then also finalize the budget. So I have a pretty thorough budget that I put together, and I just want to run it by, like, I'm the only one that's looked at all this stuff so far, so I want to run it by them. That's what I plan to do this coming week, is those 2 things for that. So I'm actually already booked to shoot 2 more short films this year. One is in just about 2 weeks from now, and then the other one is in November. So this week I'm planning to finish the storyboards. I've already talked about the storyboards with the directors, and we have the shots. I just like to draw them out, and like finalize the shot lists and that kind of stuff. And like I mentioned before, I need to come up with a few video ideas for this beverage brand. I do have some rough ideas, but I'm going to try to like workshop them into something that's very like elegant, but also high quality, but at the same time, really simple to shoot. Mostly because of the fact that, you know, I'm doing this for free. So if I'm going to throw my time into it, I want to throw like as little money as possible into making these high quality. Even if I do get them to hire me regularly, I don't know what their budget would be, so I want to make sure that this is like a level of quality that I can maintain, even if the budget is like just for me and my camera, you know what I mean? I'm also hoping to finish like a rough outline for one of those scripts for the vertical series. So I have a premise for a fantasy season of the vertical series, but I just need to flesh out like the story beats, and that's one on my list to do. Yeah, so anytime I can to write will be either that, working on my feature, working on my book. Those are pretty much the three things that I'll spend my blocks of writing time on. So lastly, I'm getting to the end of this program I've actually been teaching or facilitating. So I actually have been facilitating a photography workshop for adults with developmental disabilities. And, you know, I'm teaching them how to use cameras, teaching them some basic rules of, you know, lighting and composition. And we're going to have a showcase in a couple of weeks, and I just got to finalize like little details. Like I'm going to put flyers out in the venue, figuring out how I'm going to print their images and have them on display. So that's the last thing I plan to do this week. Okay, that's not the last thing. I guess there's one more thing. So this is like the first week of TIFF. It just started, I think today or yesterday, and I'm gonna try to spend a day or two at least going down to TIFF, getting some content. This year I didn't get a industry pass. Last year I did, and it was a great experience, and I really wanted to do this year, but it just, you know, I moved recently, like the financials didn't make sense at the time, so I decided against it. I've kind of been ignoring like the films that are out because I don't want to get FOMO, but I do plan to go and just, you know, engage with people there and talk to some people, because I do know some people that are going to be there, you know, maybe just finding time for coffee chats and stuff like that. So that's all the things that I'm doing right now, I think. Also, I guess just editing these videos and actually putting them out, so hopefully they come out. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll let you know next week how all that shit went. See ya. Before, yeah, like, cat just jumped down. I'm like, oh cool, I like your work, blah 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 blah. I'm holding a coffee. This blue cup is. I'm holding this coffee. I'm drinking it. My mouth hurts. I just had my teeth cleaned, and it's been a while. Okay. Oh. Je sais parler le français. Haha, oui, oui. That's basically what I did. Just threw my phone on the ground.